Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to MTGCardMarket Wednesday Night Modern. I'm Matthew Cartier, joined in the booth by Dan Dwan. Hoping to see some good Modern tonight.
Yeah, we had an entire weekend of quite a bit of Modern.
4 different Modern events, one Open, 2 GPs, and a Classic.
Right. So, really 3.5. The Classic.
Sure. There are a lot of deck lists, though.
It's true. It wasn't even a small Classic, now that you think about it. It was like a 300-person Classic.
Yeah, if people come to play the Modern Open and they wash, then, they're going to play the Classic, right?
Sure. Or play the best format. Standard.
They didn't have a I thought it was a Legacy Classic.
I think it was Standard?
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Whatever, that's fine. So we're going to throw it down to the play overlay, though, as we have 2 players shuffling up here for Game 1. On the left, Simon Camerau, sometimes seen on the stream. Tonight he is playing Burn, and his Burn is Mardu. Mm-hmm. So we'll see how that goes for him. This one card prominently featured. So the draw to this deck is Bump in the Night. Target opponent loses 3 life.
Right. You're playing Bump the Night over the white options. More prominently, the white allows you to have more powerful sideboard cards.
Oh, no, he's Mardu. He has all 3 colors.
Oh, he is Mardu. Excuse me. He's not
red-black. He's not Rakdos.
Yeah. Bump in the Night, because it says opponent loses 3 life, also is relevant in quite a few scenarios.
Losing life is this kills the worship, among other things. And it's basically it's similar to Lava Spike. You face them for 3. The thing with Bump is it does have this flashback but the flashback is for so much that if you reasonably cast the flashback, how are you not dead? Right.
Although it's not insignificant, right? Because one of the ways Burn loses is you flood out a little bit. Mm-hmm. But now, if you flood out...
If you flood out to 6, though...
Well,
Are there... I guess there are 6 lands that can actually make mana, but it's not that many.
Let's not forget, you also probably are playing some number of fast lands as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not unreasonable to keep a 3-lander, and then, if the game goes on a couple turns, you could theoretically get to 6.
Yeah.
So
it's not. Look, it's strictly upside. Most of the time, Lava Spike is just enough. But
for sure. If Lava Spike had just a free flashback on it,
it'd be so good.
Maybe this is relevant. Even if it's flashback 10, flashback 10 maybe a little bit much, but yeah, at 6 it's.
At 6, it can sometimes happen.
Right.
Okay, so I have no idea what Brandon's playing, but it looks like he's on Grixis Death Shadow. So, we will put him there. Grixis Death Shadow, notably winning won the SCG Open. Brad Nelson taking it down. Ooh, Simon.
Yeah. Ooh, this is a
Soulscar Mage.
Yeah, this is was promised as Monastery Swift Spear, number 5 through 8.
In talking to Simon, he told me that it's Monastery Swiftspear 5, because you're not really interested in 6 through 8.
That's fair. As far as 1-drops go, between Goblin Guide and Swiftspear, you already have quite a few.
Notably, Simon is not playing 4 Idle on main deck. He's playing 1 in the board today.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's not playing 4 main.
It's a little weird. I looked at his board beforehand. He's got some spice in there. Yeah, so we'll see Brandon here. He'll fetch Shock. And this is one place where this matchup is I think it's very skill testing, sort of, how much the Grixis Death Shadow pilot wants to do to themselves. Because you do want to be able to play those Death Shadows and stuff, and Brandon has 2 of them here. But you also don't just want to, lose to the Burn player. We'll see a Thoughtseize here. It'll reveal double Searing Blaze Skullcrack and a Bolt.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Now, the Searing Blazes are going to be excellent with the Soulscar Mage, because they're going to Soulscar Mage effectively gives your spells a wither.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you'll be able to put, normally just dealing 3 to a Death Shadow is
It doesn't really do much, but now we have
you shrink it permanent, yeah. Looks like Brandon's going to opt for the Bolt here. Notably, Simon is going to need some way to turn on those Searing Blazes. That being said, he draws another Mountain here, so if I were him, I'd play the Mountain, maybe? I feel like you want to play the Mountain because that That Wooded Foothills can be used at instant speed. I know that Brandon, didn't see the mountain, so he'd know exactly what Simon's hand was, but I really think that in this situation, you want to save the fetch land, and it looks like Simon agrees with me. So we'll see a Skullcrack here. This will put Brandon down to 12.
Right. Just firing off a Skullcrack here to get an extra point in damage.
Yeah. And Brandon, there's no life gain in the Grixis Death Shadow deck. Brandon will go to 10 from the attack from the Soulscar Mage. So already under some pressure. And so Brandon's going to have to figure out, how do I play these Death Shadows and not get them killed? And how do I play these shadows in a way that lets me close the game out really quickly? Because the way that Grixis Death Shadow beats Burn is, you play a Death Shadow and you kill them in 2 or 3 turns before you just die.
Right, but the problem is Brandon's already so low.
Right,
we're at the point where, do you cycle a Street Wraith anymore? Because
I don't think you do.
Right.
Going below 9 is bad because then you're just you're almost dead.
Mm-hmm.
There's 6 points in hand. Simon will draw at least 1 more before the end of the game.
And with just playing this deck, you're pricing yourself. If you want untapped mana, you're pricing yourself to get shocked every time.
Brandon will go to 8.
Mm-hmm.
I might have honestly preferred the Thoughtseize off a basic Swamp. I think that fetching for Blood Crypt may have been a little bit fast, given that he saw the Soulscar Mage. This will be a Death Shadow, though. It's a 5/5. The thing is that now Simon can play his land, Searing Blaze the Death Shadow, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then swing in with his Soulscar Mage, and if Brandon blocks, he just loses the Shadow.
Right.
And this is, if you know there are 2 Searing Blazes in hand, I might be tempted to wait for the 3rd mana for Brandon, because he does have a Stubborn Denial, so he can at least counter the first one.
The problem is, Brandon's so far behind, he just has to play to the board. He has to play to the board, yeah.
That's fair. We'll see here. Simon will play a Goblin Guide. This will be an attack. We'll trigger the Goblin Guide. Brandon will flip his top card over. It's another Death Shadow. Simon's like, oh boy.
Man, not terrible.
Yeah. So the thing here is Brandon, though, is going to go to... What? If he doesn't block, he goes to 1.
Mm-hmm.
If he does block... And see, this is...
Again, he has to block, right? Without Team or Battle Rage, there's
he
no
has
way
to block, but I think I would block the Goblin Guide.
Right. The blocking the Goblin Guide means that you at least trade.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes there's argument for, there's the argument for blocking. You block the Swift Spear instead of the Guide because if they have 2 spell turns or something, the Swift Spear can do 3 damage, and also the Guide does potentially draw you cards. But here I don't like this block.
Here you're not even trading.
Wait. Oh no, because the damage is going to be dealt to Brandon, and he's going to go to 5.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, no, this is fine.
Okay, so this was a better block then.
Yeah, that Death Shadow, currently a 5/5 still.
Mm-hmm.
So this is an attack for 5. Simon will go to 10. To be fair, if Brandon just runs out another Death Shadow, Simon's in a real hard spot.
Right. Simon does.
I mean, he just needs to draw a burn spell.
Yep. 1 mana burn spell.
No, he needs to have... Yeah,
he needs a land for the landfall, yeah?
Not only that, but Brandon does have a Stubborn Denial.
Okay.
This is a Swift Spear. And Simon... Yeah, we CW8 Smith. We messed up on that Searing Blaze killing Death Shadows. So Simon swings with both. He's gonna show and so Brandon will cast Stubborn Denial here. And then Simon scoops it up.
Wow, and this is how
you lose a Death Shadow is Burn.
Exactly. I mean, coincidentally, Brandon had a very excellent draw against exactly what Simon was trying to do.
Right. I mean, I don't disagree with that. It's just that's sort of the quintessential, or that's sort of the characteristic of this matchup since Death Shadow sort of exploded onto this scene is you can just, sometimes they just do so much damage to themselves that they can't win, but other times other times they just have a 5/5 Shadow with Stubborn Denial backup, and that one spell you need to punch through just gets countered.
Right.
Right, because without the Stubborn Denial, Simon does win the game there.
And not just that, until your opponent is dead, all your bolts, they're bolting yourself if there's a Death Shadow in play.
It's like Giant Growth permanently. Yeah. So from what I've sort of, I don't know, gleaned about this matchup, having played like I don't know, probably like 20 or 30 games of it, is that as the burn player, you're looking to hold your opponent at about 9 or 10 until you can go like end of turn, stuff, untap stuff, and then they die. Also, if they don't have removal, like Eidolon can be pretty punishing. You just have to be wary about them like shocking off your Eidolon to like make their shadows bigger.
Although this matchup seems pretty unwinnable without the exact card Death Shadow.
Oh no, so yeah, that's the other thing is if your
opponent just never draws with Death Shadow,
yeah,
which, you know...
And our camera froze here. I'm going to throw it back up to us and back down to there. Okay, can you go mess with the thing? Oh, darn it. We're going to fix our camera here momentarily as no cameras are working. Okay. Yeah, so bear with us just for a second, folks. Dan should get this camera replugged, and we should be on the move shortly. Okay, let's see. None of the cameras. I'm gonna... Yeah, this is weird. None of the cameras seem to be coming up. I'm going to try to restart the stream software. This will take the stream down. We should be back momentarily. We apologize for this interruption.